Welcome back to Pace Academy. Today we will continue with our chapter Geometry. Okay, till now what we discussed? We discussed about point, lines, planes and triangles, quadrilaterals and some polygons, right? Now we will discuss about the circles. Okay, so tell me what is meant by circle? Circle, that means it is in a round shape. Yes. So circle means the collection of points in a plane. Okay, we have infinite number of infinite points in a plane. The collection of points in a plane which are equidistant from the fixed point. Okay, I am taking a fixed point here. Okay, I am collecting all the points in a plane which are equidistant from this fixed point. This is called what? So from here to here, here to here, here to here, this all distance is fixed. Okay, and this is a fixed point. So from this fixed point with the fixed distance I am collecting all the points in a plane. It forms a circle. In other way you can say that a point P which rotates, that means the locus of this path of this P with a fixed equidistance with a fixed point. Same definition only. Okay, so this one is called what? Circle. The locus of that path is called what? Circle. Okay, so here this fixed point is called what? Center of the circle. Center of the circle. And this fixed distance OP is called radius of the circle. Okay, so this fixed point is called center and the fixed distance is called what? Radius of the circle. That's why generally we are representing any circle like this, C, O, comma, R. That means the circle C represented with the center O and the radius R. Clear this one? And now I am taken like this, AB. That means here 2 points are opposite to this center and we are joining this AB. It touches this center. This AB is called what? Diameter. Okay, here AB is called what? Diameter. You know all of this terminology, right? So diameter equals to always 2 times of radius. This is also radius, this is also radius. So R plus R2R gives what? Which is equals to diameter, right? What about the circumference of this circle? Circumference means the length of the whole circle path. Okay, the length of the whole circle path is called circumference. What is the circumference? 2 pi r is the circumference. What is the area of this circle? Pi r square. So this is circumference and this is area, right? So this is all about the circles. We will see the definition first. So here a circle is a locus, that is the path of a point in a plane which moves in such a way that its distance from a fixed point is always remains constant, right? So the path traced by the P is called what? Circle. And the fixed point O is called what? Center of the circle. And this fixed distance OP is called what? Radius of the circle. Clear? So this is about the circle. Now the circle divides the given plane into 3 parts. Okay, that means here it is a circle is there. Okay, so this is one part, this is second part and this is third part. That means the inside of the circle one part, on the circle second part and the outside third part. So the inside is called interior of the circle and this is on circle and this is outside is called what? Exterior of the circle. Okay, exterior of the circle. So any circle if you can take, it divides the plane into 3 parts: interior of the circle, on the circle and exterior of the circle. Okay, clear? Now we will see some terminology, new terminology regarding this circle. Okay, the first one here is chord. What is meant by chord? Chord is nothing but a line segment joining any 2 points on the circle is called what? Chord of the circle. So I am taking a circle like this. You can take any 2 points. I am taking these two. Otherwise you can take these two. On the circle, you have to take the points on the circle. So if you join these 2 points, it is called a chord. If you join these 2 points, it is also called a chord. If you join these 2 points, it is also a chord. Okay, a chord is nothing but what? A line segment joining any 2 points on the circle. Clear? Now, if the chord passes through the center, okay, suppose center is there. This is the chord AB, is passes through the center. Then now what is this chord called? Diameter. And this is the longest chord also. Okay. So the longest chord is what? Diameter. Clear? Right? So the chord which passes through the center is called diameter. That is the definition for diameter. And the longest chord is what? Diameter only. Clear? So this is about the chord. The next one is arc. What is meant by arcs? Arc is nothing but, suppose a circle is there like this. I have 2 points like this. This part is called arc, and this part is also called arc. Okay, a piece of circle between 2 points. I am taking 2 points here, A and B. Between 2 points is called what? An arc. Okay, and you can say another way also. The part of the circumference of the circle, right? This is the part of the circumference of the circle. You can call it as an arc. Okay, so here 2 points are there. These 2 points divide the circle into 2 pieces or not, right? So this lower piece, this smaller piece is called minor arc, and this longer piece is called major arc. Clear? So here we can represent the arc like this, here like this. Okay, and the chord is like this. Okay, but the arc is like this. AB arc is what? Minor arc. And here I am taken 1 point on this minor part. Okay, some P you can take. Here you can take Q this side. So APB. Okay, this time you don't have any confusion, right? APB. This is the APB arc is minor arc, and AQB, which is this what? Major arc. Clear? Right? So arc is nothing but it is a part of the circumference. Okay, whenever we are adding those minor and major arc, we are getting whole circumference of the circle. And if the both 2 arcs are equal, that means minor arc equals to major arc, that time what happened? It becomes a semicircle, right? So here suppose center is there, right? The angle made by this arc, this is the angle made by this arc is called what? Theta. This is called the central angle also. Okay, either the chord or either the arc made at the center is called what? Central angle. Here theta equals to, you can represent like this, measure of arc APB. This represent arc APB. Okay, here measure of arc APB equals to theta, means measure of arc means which is nothing but it is a central angle theta. Clear this one? Right? So the next one is segment. What is meant by segment? Segment is nothing but a region, right? Here coming to circles, the segment means the region between a chord and an arc of the circle. So just now we seen what is meant by chord. Chord is nothing but whenever we are joining any 2 points on the circle, it forms a chord. This is a line segment. But arc is a curve, circumference part, right? So the region between the chord and an arc is called what? Segment. This is segment. Here again, the region between this chord with minor arc gives minor segment, and this chord with the major arc gives what? Major segment. Right? So here this chord with the minor arc gives, this region is called minor segment and this region is called major segment. Clear? So the center lies on the minor segment or major segment, right? The center always inside of the major segment only. Clear? Right? So this is about the segment. Here this PQ you can take. This APB region. The region of this APB gives minor segment. The region of AQB gives what? Major segment. Clear? Right? So the next one is sector. What is meant by sector? You know, right? Sector is nothing but, it's also a region. The region between the arc and two radii joining the center to the endpoints of the arc. That means I have 2 points here, A and B. This is an arc I am taken. Okay. So the sector is nothing but the region between an arc and the endpoints, the two radii. This is one radii and this is two radii. The two radii which are joining to the center to the endpoints of the arc. This is called what? Sector. So here minor arc, it is minor arc. So this is what? Minor sector. This is major arc. So this is called major sector. Clear this one? Right? So this is a minor arc, that's why you are forming a region between these two radii, and this arc gives the minor sector, and this gives what? Major sector. So I am taken, this is a theta, central angle. Now tell me, what is the area of this sector? Area of the sector, which is equals to theta by 360 into pi r square. Okay, what is the length of this arc? You can take it as L, and this is R. Length of the arc AB gives what? Theta by 360 into 2 pi r. Okay, that means this is length and it is a part of circumference. That's why theta by 360 into circumference. Here it is area of this sector. Okay, sector area. This one is sector area. So that's why theta by 360 into area of this circle gives what? Sector of this area. Okay, area of this sector. And this is the length of the arc of AB. Clear these two? If suppose this minor sector equals to major sector, then it is nothing but what? Semicircle. Again, the semicircle only. Clear this one? What is meant by sector? Right? So the next one is tangent and secant. You know, right, what is meant by tangent? Tangent is nothing but whenever a tangent is a straight line which touches the circle, which touches the circumference of this circle at only one point. That simply the tangent is a line which touches the given circle at only one point. This is called what? Tangent. I am taking this line as a AB, right? That means suppose if you extend infinitely this line, if you extend AB infinitely, it doesn't touches anywhere to this circumference. That means it touches the circumference at only one point. Okay, this point is called what? Point of contact. Point of contact. So this is the center where I am taken. So always this tangent is perpendicular to the radii drawn from the center to the point of contact. Clear? So always this center to the radii drawn from the center to the point of contact, and this tangent always makes perpendicular. Clear this one? This is very important point. Okay. So here AB is called what? Tangent. So how many tangents we have for any circle? We have infinity tangents, right? Because we have infinite points on the circle. At every point you have a tangent or not, right? So you have infinite tangents for any circle. Okay, how many tangents I can draw from a point inside the circle? Can I draw any tangents from point inside the circle? No, because it is already inside means if I draw a line through this point, it always touches the circle at 2 points. That means it is not a tangent. Suppose the point on the circle, how many tangents I can draw? one tangent. That is the point of contact, means we have only one tangent, right? If suppose a point is outside the circle, how many tangents I can draw? To this circle only 2 tangents you can draw. This is one tangent and another one is like this. Okay, so you can draw a 2 tangents if a point is outside the circle. If you can draw only one tangent if the point is on the circle. You can draw 0 tangents if the point is inside the circle. Clear this one? What about secant? This is nothing but secant. Okay, a secant is a straight line of infinite length which intersect the circumference of the circle at 2 different points. Okay, so if it touches at only one point, you can call it as tangent. But if it touches at 2 points, then you can call it as secant. Clear? So this is the secant. AB is the secant. Okay, here whenever we have the end points to this one line segment, this is called what? Chord. But this is a line which touches the circle. That means you can extend both sides. Okay, this is secant. Clear? But here we have end points. Those end points are on the circle. That one is called chord. Clear this one? How many secants you can draw for a circle? Infinite, right? So the next one is equal chords. So these are some terms regarding the circle. Now we will see some properties of the circle. Okay, now we will see the properties of the circle. Already we seen some basic properties for the triangles also, right? Now we will see with the circles. Equal chords of a circle subtended equal angles at the center. What it means? Circle is there. I am taken any 2 equal chords. Here one chord, here another chord. I am taken here AB is one chord and CD is another chord and AB equals to CD. Okay. Equal chords of a circle subtended equal angles at the center. What is meant by angle subtended at the center? Whenever we are joining the 2 endpoints to the center, it makes some angle or not. This angle is called angle subtended at the center by this CD. And whenever we are joining these endpoints to here, the angle subtended at the center by this AB. Okay, if 2 chords are equal, then the angle subtended by those 2 chords are equal. That means these 2 are equal. Clear? In converse also it applies. That means if the 2 angles made by 2 chords at the center are equal, then those 2 chords lengths are equal. Right? That means if AB is equal to CD, these 2 angles AOB is equals to COD. If angle AOB is equal to COD, then you can say that AB is equals to CD. Clear this one? The next one. Equal chords of a circle are equidistant from the center of the circle. That means I have 2 chords, here one chord, here another chord. Okay. So these 2 chords lengths are same. Equal chords is nothing but the length of the chord is same. Okay. So these AB equals to CD, then the distance between these 2 chords, distance is nothing but it is perpendicular distance or not? Right? So you can take it as L and M. If AB equals to CD, then OL equals to OM. Okay. That means AB equals to CD, then OL equals to OM. Same thing applied converse also. If OL equals to OM, then AB equals to CD. What it means? If any 2 chords are equidistant from the center, then those lengths of the chord lengths are also same. Okay, clear these 2 points, right? So the next property is the greater of the 2 chords is nearer to the center. What it means? Just now we seen equal chords are equidistant from the center. The greater of the 2 chords, that means which one is longer, which is nearer to the center, and which one is shorter, which is far from the center. Okay. So here it is distance from center to this greater chord I am taken, and here this one is CD is a shorter shorter chord, this is far from the center. Okay, if suppose what is the longest chord? It is nothing but the diameter only. So diameter is how much distance from the center? 0. Whenever we are decreasing the length of the chord, the distance also increasing. That means inversely proportional. So if AB is to CD is inversely proportional to what? You can take it as M. Okay. So OM is to OL. That means if the length of the AB is, length always inversely proportional to what? Distance from center to that chord. That means here if the AB length is decreases, then the length of this distance from the chord to center increases. Okay. So here CD length is increases. That means CD length increases, then the distance is decreases or not? Always the greater chord is nearer to the center. Clear that one? Okay. Two equal chords have equal corresponding arcs. Same thing here. That means suppose these two chords are equal, A, B, C, D, and here center is O. Okay. So if suppose AB equals to CD, then this arcs also equal lengths. Okay, you can take it as P, you can take it as Q. That means if AB equals to CD, then you can say that APB equals to CQD. So this is the representation for the arc. Already I told you, right? So this is the representation for the chord. AB equals to CD, then APB is equals to CQD. Converse also applied. That means if the two arc lengths are same, then those two are equidistant. Sorry, those two lengths are also equal. Clear? So the next one is the perpendicular from the center of the circle to a chord of the circle bisect the chord, which is nothing but if a circle is there, okay, this is the center O and this is the chord AB, okay, a perpendicular from the center of the circle to a chord, you can take like this. Okay, this is the perpendicular, OL is the perpendicular taken from the center to the chord AB, then the chord of the circle bisects the chord. That means this perpendicular bisects the chord. Okay, that means if OL is perpendicular to AB, then what you can say? AL equals to LB. Clear? So same thing, if AL equals to LB, then OL is obviously perpendicular to AB. Clear this one? That means whenever you are taking a perpendicular from this one, from center to on the chord, this perpendicular always bisects the chord, which is nothing but what? The perpendicular bisector of AB always passes through the center, right? So that means whenever you are taking any chord, suppose the chord is there. Okay, I am taking a perpendicular bisector. What is meant by perpendicular bisector? That means which is perpendicular to the given line and which is bisects the given line segment, right? So the perpendicular bisectors of all the chords always passes through the center of the circle. Clear? Okay. One and only one circle can pass through the given three non-collinear points. What it means? Already I told you last class what is meant by collinear and non-collinearity, right? So what is meant by collinear points? If three or more points lying on the same line, then those points are called what? Collinear points. Non-collinear means those points are not on the same line, right? So I am taking lines like this, 3 points. So with these three given points, one and only one circle can pass through the given three non-collinear points. Clear this one, right? So that means with the given any three non-collinear points, only one circle can pass through those three non-collinear points. What about the collinear points? How many circles can pass through these three collinear points? 0. It is not possible, right? So suppose I am taking a circle here, it doesn't touches the circle. I am taking a circle like this, it doesn't touches the circle. I am taking a circle between here, it doesn't touches the circle. So that means 3 points are non-collinear, then you can pass, only one circle can pass. But if 3 are collinear, 0 circles can pass through it. Okay. With 2 points, how many circles can pass through the 2 points? Tell me. This is one. This is one. This is one. Like this, infinite circles can pass through these 2 points. Clear? So with the 2 points, infinite circle can passes. If 1 point, infinite circles can passes. But with the 3 non-collinear, only 1 circle can pass. And with the 3 collinear, 0 circles can pass. Clear this one, right? Yes. So the next one is the angle subtended by an arc at the center. This is very important property for the circles. See here, the angle subtended by an arc at the center. This is the center. Okay. So this is the arc I am taken AB. Okay, I am taken an arc AB. So angle subtended by this center with an arc AB means what it means? This angle only, right? So the angle subtended by arc at the center is double the angle subtended by it at any point on the remaining part of the circle. This is the arc. What is the remaining part? This one only, right? So if you can take any point on the remaining part, here also you can take. Not on this arc, but you can take on the remaining part. Okay, if you can take any point that is the angle subtended by at any point is theta, then this is 2 theta. Clear what he said? Here the angle made by this arc at the center is always double the angle made by the arc, this arc at any point on the circle other than this arc, this part. Okay, that means if the arc is minor arc, then you can take the point on major arc. If the arc is major arc, then you can take the point on minor arc. Clear this one, right? So this is very important property. That means suppose here I have, this is 50 degrees. What is the angle AOB? Which is twice that of this angle. That means how much? 100 degrees. Twice of this angle. Like this. Okay. Wherever you can take, always this point angle is twice that of the angle made by any point. Okay. Clear this one? So this is also theta, this is also theta, this is also theta. Okay, we have another property, that one also. Angle in a semicircle is a right angle. So just now we seen, suppose I am taking a diameter. Okay. So what is this angle? 180 degrees. I am taking this angle is 180 degrees. Is it correct or not? It is a straight angle. This arc makes 180 degrees at the center or not? I am taking AB. This is an arc, makes 180 degrees at the center or not, right? So that means on other part, how much angle it makes? Always half of this one. If it is theta, if it's 2 theta means, it is 180 means how much it is? 90 degrees only, right? So that means this is semicircle or not? That's why we are taking here it is a 180 degrees. So always angle in a semicircle is a right angle. Okay, clear? Not only here. Here also. Here also you can take 90 because this is 180. So you can take this one as a 90, this one as a 90, this one as a 90. Okay. So this is very important property. When angle in a semicircle is right angle. Clear this one, right? So the next one is the angles in the same segment of the circles are equal. Just now we seen, right? So here this is the circle and how much is this angle? Just now we seen, if it is theta, then at the center it makes 2 theta or not, right? So this is 2 theta means, what about this angle? This is also theta or not? Because it is 2 theta means here it is half of the central angle. Same thing, here it is half of the central angle. Same thing, here it is half of the central angle, right? So that means same thing you can take here. So within the center, if you can take the arc like this, okay, so here this angle and this angle, these are also same. Okay, these are different. I am taking, this is the arc, okay, I am taken remaining part here. So that means what it means? The angles in the same segment of the circle are equal. Here I am taken major segment. So all the angles in the major segment are equal or not? So like that in the minor segment also, all the angles in the minor segment are equal or not? That means the angles in the same segment of the circle are equal. Clear this one, right? So suppose I have here, this is A comma B and P, like this. So angle APB plus angle AQB equals to 120 degrees. Okay, angle APB plus AQB equals to 120 degrees. So tell me, how much is APB now? APB is equal to 60 only, because these two angles are equal. These 2 points are on the same segment or not? Clear? So that means these two angles are equal. So this one equal means 2 times of angle APB gives what? 120 degrees. So APB equals to 60 degrees. Clear this one or not? Right? Understood? Yes. If in a plane, a line segment joining 2 points subtends equal angles at the other points lying on the same side of a line containing the line segment, the 4 points lying in a circle, they are concyclic. What it means? A line segment joining 2 points. Okay, I am taking AB is the 2 points and I am joining a line segment like this. Okay, subtends equal angles at 2 other points lying on the same side of a line. So I am taken here and here. Okay, C and D. So what they said here, this AB makes equal angle with C and equal angle with D. So that means with point C and point D they make equal angles. Okay, line containing the line segment. The 4 points lie on a circle. So whenever you are taking a line segment and whenever that line segment makes equal angles with the 2 points on the same side of the line segment, then you can say that those 4 points are concyclic, which is nothing but those 4 are lying on the same circle. Clear this property? That means if a line segment subtend equal angles with any 2 points on the same side of the line segment, then you can say those 4 points lying on a circle, which is nothing but those 4 points are concyclic. Clear this one? The next property is the sum of the either pair of opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral is 180. What is meant by cyclic quadrilateral? Cyclic quadrilateral is nothing but the quadrilateral is inscribed by a circle, right? That means this is the quadrilateral I am taken. The 4 points of the quadrilateral lying on the circle, then you can call it as a cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, here A, B, C, D is a quadrilateral and the points A, B, C, D are concyclic. That means lying on the same circle. Okay, then you can call it as a cyclic quadrilateral. A cyclic quadrilateral is the quadrilateral whose 4 vertices are concyclic. Okay, clear? So this is cyclic quadrilateral. So what is the property now? The sum of the either pair of opposite angles always supplement to each other. Okay, that means angle A plus angle C equals to 180 degrees and angle B plus angle D equals to 180 degrees. This is simply a cyclic quadrilateral, a quadrilateral, not parallelogram. If it is a parallelogram, what is the property? If in a parallelogram, the consecutive angles are supplement, right? Here, but in a cyclic quadrilateral, the sum of the opposite angles are 180. Clear this property? This is very important property. In a cyclic quadrilateral, the opposite angles always supplement to each other. Clear this one? I will see the next property. if a side of a cyclic quadrilateral is produced, the exterior angle so formed is equal to the interior opposite angle. This is the cyclic quadrilateral I have. So this is A, B, C, D. All the 4 points lying on the same circle, that means concyclic. Then can I call it as a cyclic quadrilateral or not? Suppose a quadrilateral is there like this. Can I call this one as cyclic quadrilateral? No. The 4 points should lying on the same circle. If it is touches another circle, but it is not a cyclic quadrilateral, the 4 points should be on the same circle only. Concyclic is nothing but on the same circle, lying on the same circle. Clear this one? Now the property is, if the side of the cyclic quadrilateral is produced means you should have to prolong this one, like this, right? Here it forms an exterior angle or not? This is always equal to the interior opposite angle. Okay, the interior opposite angle. So this angle is theta, then this one also theta. Clear this one or not? Suppose I am extending this side. If it is some alpha, this angle is alpha. Clear? So that means whenever we are produce any side of the quadrilateral, cyclic quadrilateral, that angle is equals to what? That exterior angle is equals to interior opposite angle. Clear this one? Whenever you are solving the questions, this property is very important. Okay, right? So we will see the next property. Two circles C1 with the center O1 and radius R1 and C2 with the center O2, radius R2. First, we'll touch externally. Two circles are there. They given R1 less than greater than? No. So I am taken like this, right? So this is touches externally or not, right? At here they touches, and I am taken this is R1, and here I am taken this is R2, and the centers are O1 and O2. This is O1 and this is O2. Okay. Externally, if and only if O1 O2 equals to R1 plus R2, what it means? When the two circles touches externally, the distance between the centers equals to sum of the radii of those two circles. That means O1 O2 which is equals to R1 plus R2. That means here whenever the radius, sum of the radius equals to distance between the centers, then that means the two circles touches externally. Okay, if suppose two circles are there like this, one is like this and another one is like this. Okay, here this is O2, here it is O1, this radius is R1 and this radius is R2. Now tell me, what is the relation between R1 and R2? Here we want the distance between O1 to O2, which is nothing but the difference between this R1 to R2 or not? This whole thing is R1. Whenever I am subtracting this R2, we are getting this O dash or not? O1 O2 or not? So O1 O2 equals to R1 minus R2. Clear this one? So if the circus touches internally, then the distance between the centers equals to difference of the radii. If the circus touches externally, then the difference of the centers equals to sum of the radii. Clear? If the condition is the distance between the two centers is equals to sum of the radii, then the two circles touches externally. If the distance between the two centers is equals to difference of the radii, then the two circles touches internally. Clear these properties or not? Right?